Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Sonny Edwards here on his doorstep in Sheffield. How are you doing, Sonny?
Yeah, really good, really good. Down here with Dalton, Nico, my fighter as well that I manage, Ishmael Davies. Yeah, we've got a good little vibe. You know, it's a Matchroom Sheffield show, and it's got a hard spine of Steel City fighters and fighters that I'm involved with. So yeah, a night and a fight week that I'm really looking forward to and have been for a little bit.
You've obviously been up here a number of years now. That fight scene in Sheffield seems to be in a really good place with Dalton and some of the other fighters you were mentioning. Big days and big fights to come in Sheffield.
Yeah, and I've only fought here once myself, and it was the most tickets I've ever sold. It was the most, everything. It's my home as well. So I think, over the next 10 years, I think there's going to be a real standard of boxing coming out of Sheffield, and a real good one. And I think a lot of the good fighters will come from our gym, Steel City, as well. And I think when you look at it, that's kind of what's happening already.
I'm sure you spent a lot of time around the camp with Dalton Smith. How's he looking for this fight? Definitely his toughest test to date. Yeah,
like I've said before, I've known Dalton since I was 11, 12 years old. There was a time we was in the same, before I joined Steel City, we was in the same hotel in Magaluf. You know what I mean? When I was 18 years old. So I've known Dalton personally a very long time. Ever since I've been in Sheffield, he's been one of my closest friends. He's godfather to my children. His dad's my coach. His sister's godmother to my children. He's very family oriented. I'm very close to him, and I'm very proud of him for getting this far. It's a very, very big fight. It's a big step up, I think, as well from where he's been fighting at before. But I think he's every bit good enough and ready and prepared to take the win and introduce himself to the standard of world level boxing. Because let's be real, Zepeda's there or thereabouts. Yeah, okay. Never had the plaudits of being a world champion, but he's given real world champions every little bit they've had. You know what I mean? That's the reality of how good Zepeda is as a fighter. So yeah, it's a good fight, hard fight for him.
Do you think Zepeda's sort of in a position where he's now on the way down, and that was part of the strategic thinking going into this?
I'm not sure. He's only lost against very, very good fighters, world champions and maybe future world champions in Richardson, Hitchens. Yeah, I was there for that fight, and I think if you can box and move for Zepeda, you give him hell. But I think if you stand there and fight with him, anyone, it's a hard fight. Anyone. Look, Pro Grace is a very, very good fighter. If you stand and trade with him, like he can take a shot and he can land big back. So I would like to see Dalton using every bit of his skills. I don't think it's looking at him to be past it. I think the threat is very, very much there. Like no one in our gym is looking at this as get past it fight. If other people are, then it's not. It's genuinely not in ours. I mean, I would have liked to see Dalton maybe fight, someone like a Sean McComb, someone at that international level, world ranked with WBO, just been on DAZN, fought Maxwell, mutual opponent, Irish, English speaking, especially when he's looking at the Adam Azim fight. Because you beat Zepeda, it's not even worth mentioning Adam Azim's name at that point. Not for a bit, especially not when he's talking about vacating and not fighting him. Like, streets ahead of him at that point. I like Adam, he's a great fighter, but I think they're doing a terrible, not terrible, but in certain aspects they're doing a bad job. It's all right forcing yourself to become one of the quickest European champions, but if you vacate it to not fight your first mandatory and fight for anything less than a big, big, big fight or a world title fight, your public image and perception has hemorrhaged more than it got gained by winning the European title. You know what I mean? So you got a little gain to have a bigger loss, and that's why some boxers, they go to promoters and managers that don't really fully understand the whole 360 dynamic. It's all right being a European champion, but you vacate it while someone else goes and does something big, so you don't have to fight him. Not everyone's looking at Dalton and no one caring about Azim, apart from his hardcores. And in the conversation, it's, well, Dalton and his team was fully going for the fight. You was the champion of the European title, Dalton of the British title. It could have been the easiest fight to make, and you vacated. So a minute ago, you were such a great fighter for being a European champion. Now the European champion's not worth defending.
Let's talk about yourself. It's been a number of months since we saw you in the ring, unfortunately taking that loss to Bam Rodriguez. Can we expect to see you out soon? I've seen the non-Shinga fight, it's been mentioned. Is there any truth in that?
Not Shinga don't want to fight me now. He's also got a mandatory and he's beaten before. There is talks that they've mentioned, and I've seen it on Twitter more than I've even talked about it, which is funnily enough. You know, they want me to fight former world champion Curiel in my first fight at light flyweight. They want me to fight in America. Well, that's what I'm hearing anyway. We've had some conversations where I get where some people are getting some of the stuff from, but maybe some stuff I'm learning. But I'm open-minded for any fight, but it just has to be proper. It has to be right. I didn't give me Curiel. I wanted Notshinga. I thought for what I've done for these divisions and my name and my purses that I bring and the attention, me pointing at Notshinga, he'll be like, oh yeah, I'll fight him because it's the biggest payday he's going to get. But he's got a mandatory to clear that he's already beat before, so I get it, you know what I mean? He probably will fight me, but, you know, get the world title defense, that purse, that event, someone you've already beat, and then come into a bigger fight. That's what he's looking at. So, but at the same time, I don't need to stall my career for someone else. So it's whatever's best for me, and the conversation I'm having it is nothing to do with, you know, for them. I'll fight anyone. Eddie knows that. It's just really about now making everything mutually agreed going forward, because we can't just leave it at this fight and think about it after, because then it's a much bigger conversation because of what my status will be. So before we get my next fight over the line, we'll probably have to work out what I'm doing for the next few. So hopefully, like, we can get over the line and I can have a fight date to aim towards, whether that's Curiel, whether it's Notshinga, whether it's someone, anyone who I don't mind, I don't really care. I have big plans and big visions to fight in Sheffield, because like I said, you know, with a smaller promoter, with no real TV deal, with an undercard that was kind of a few of my friends, and we did very good in Sheffield. We did better than some big promoter shows in the same year. In the same month, in bigger cities, we did better. Facts, not guesswork. Me headlining. So it's what I want to do. And I think taking me to America is taking me away from that, because the more I invest over the next 10 years that I want to fight for in Sheffield, my hometown, that the event will get bigger, my support will get bigger, more organic, more genuine. And I don't know, I feel like at times it's like people have been trying to keep me away from fighting where I want to fight. Like, I shouldn't have to argue with it too much.
Charlie Edwards back out in 3 weeks' time against Jose Zepeda. It's been a little while since we saw Charlie, and I'm sure we'll have world title ambitions to get back to that world stage. Yeah,
and the first step is really getting, you know, the right people behind you and pushing you forward. I think he's made some decisions in his past where he put the wrong people around him, listened to the wrong people, and made the wrong actions, decisions, and he's paid for it. I've always learned a lot from watching my brother closely and watch what he does, and now I'm buzzing for him, you know, to be back in that position of having fight posters, TV, opponents, headline, interviews. It's where you need to be, not in the middle of obscurity where no one cares. You know, that was done by decisions outside of the ring, because Charlie's exciting. At the end of the day, he throws a lot of punches, he gets in there, he works really hard, he's a very good boxer, quick feet, he can knock people out, he's shown that in good fashion. He's only been made to be seen as any level of competitiveness in a professional boxing ring against John Real Casemiro, multi-weight world champion, free-weight world champion, who was a two-weight world champion at the time when he boxed him, and Martinez, who's gone on to be, okay, it would be a stretch of the imagination calling him a great champion, but he still had the belt ever since, won the belt, and been quite dominant and convincing in the world title fights doing it. So they're the only two times at a good level my brother's looked ordinary. Everywhere else, he's been in pretty much control. He won the world title, he won it, no one thought he lost that fight. He defended it, world title against former European champion, won that well. So it's momentum, it's getting back in, it's having Nissa and Kala really pushing him behind him, which I think they will. You know, I'm quite close with Nissa. We spent some time in Saudi for Lyndon's fight, had a couple of meetings, couple of foods that I really like him. So they've actually asked me to be involved with the broadcast on fight night, which I'm really excited. Initially asked for commentary, but I think I'm doing Larone's corner, not my brother's. So I think I'll be commentating maybe my brother's, or just doing some punditry in between. But that's also good. It means that, look, I'm benefiting of my brother's position in the sport. You know what I mean? It's like, that's how it's supposed to be. Bouncing off each other, working off each other, and supporting each other. And you know what, yeah, we've had sometimes, like all family members do, when you're not the best of friends of each other. But I will always do anything to ensure that especially with his boxing career, because his boxing career is very close to my heart. I've seen every part of it. And I want my kids growing up, not just seeing dad being the world champion and then going on and going on and going on. I want uncle being a world champion, when they seen him be a world champion, when they seen him on TV, when they've been able to see it when he was doing it. My kids weren't here, you know what I mean? So it's big for me, man. Like, my dad, his biggest achievement of his life is that he could tell everyone, he told everyone from when we're 10, 11, 12 years old, that me and Charlie are the best fighters in Britain, the best, better than the Klitschko brothers. That's what my dad would say, even now. But now we've both been world champions, he says even more, you know what I mean? But to that same level of pride, I want my kids to feel it. And I'm also in competition with my dad, because my dad produced me and my brother. So now I need to produce my 2 sons to be better than me and my brother. And if I don't, yeah, if he's still alive to tell me, my dad will tell me, you know what I mean? I swear down. He will tell me that I didn't. Yeah, so right now, Project Sonny and Charlie Edwards 2.0, it's already underway, a lot earlier than our project started, so yeah, man, it's good.
Matchroom Queensbury 5v5, we know that came to the fore late last year, but I hear that you had some earlier plans for that.
Do you know what's crazy, yeah? People don't realise how much strings I actually pull in boxing. Like, people don't really realise. They don't realise that when I was in Saudi, I had 2 of the most powerful men in the companies, without being the main men of the companies, Matchroom and Queensbury, stood either side of me, and I'm pitching them this. I'm pitching them the 5v5, the SmackDown vs Raw transfer season. I'm pitching them. You can cut everyone else out. You could have Matchroom, Queensbury, red, blue, fucking SmackDown vs Raw, and we wouldn't even be talking about the other people, because we're not. When we're talking about 5v5, no one's going, what about, no one's talking about it, no one cares. So, I told him that years ago. What year are we in now? 2024. I said that in 2019, the first time, and I'd thought about it a lot before that. Fast forward all these years now, before it's even been announced or talked about. In Saudi, yeah, when Lyndon boxed, glove rules meeting, I'm pitching it there in Saudi to the promoters. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, Turkey Al Sheikh saying it, and now guess what? 5v5's happening. You know what I mean, I don't want to say that I give great ideas, but I don't give bad ones.
What does that card look like in your opinion?
Hopefully the best.
Come on, Sonny, you're a promoter now.
No, but do you know what it is? Like, there is so many. There's so many. Like, straight away, the ones that people have been talking about, I'd want to see Boatsi versus, but he's not even here. He's not even here no more. So shit. Not Boatsi. I want to see what is it? Callum Smith versus Yard. Sorry, I was trying to think who's Yard fighting for. Something. Boatsi was the first one. Yeah, I want to see Smith Yard. That'll probably be the main. If we're talking about British. Who? Yeah, I'd like to see that. But there's every weight there's a possible fight to make. I'd like to see some more obscure ones. That all ones that we've been waiting for. But it's about making them right. It's about making proper fights. It's not about just an exhibition of someone at this level versus someone this. They've got to be, because they can be a Matchroom 5-0 kid versus a Queensbury 6-0 kid as the first, and no one's got drama with that. I want to see all the Matchroom in one colour scheme shots, and I want to see all the Queensbury in one colour scheme shots. I want to see the promoters on the ring walks. I want to see everything. I want to see a whole bit. I want there to be a cup handed out after for the winning promoter until the next time they do it again. Like, I want to see everything, and I think split it, the crowds, by them tickets over there. So you've got 2 people going at each other. The Matchroom lot and the thingy, they sell like half and half. That's how they could do the tickets. Like, I don't know. I think it's the best. Like, and imagine like 2-3 fights a year, where it is the 5 main fights, and we could do it like KSI showed me, yeah, that when you put the biggest fight at the first on the card, like when he fought Swarms, and then a big fight at the end, people will be there sat down waiting for 6-7 hours. But when you only put the good fights at the end, then just easy knockovers at the beginning, no one even wants to turn up unless they're going just to watch them. So 5v5, 6, half 6 or 7 first fight. You know what I mean? After that, next fight, just big fights. You don't need to do anything else. 5 big fights, maybe a float, and even then that should be a Queensbury versus Matchroom.
I saw yesterday and the day
Decider
before.
if there's a draw. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I saw yesterday on Twitter yourself going back and forth with Mr. Curtis Woodhouse. Just talk to me about what that was about. Is there beef there?
I'll be real, yeah. This story, I can't give SecondsOut the exclusive, You know what I mean? I can't break that to seconds out. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? But
Come on, Sonny.
not seconds out. I'm sorry. Not seconds out.
Just talk to me about what the argument was about then.
Oh, no, everyone's seen it. If you followed us on Twitter, we've gone back and forth for years. This was just the first time we bumped into each other. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Well, more. Stay posted. There might be some clips or content coming out. Hopefully not.
So did it happen? Were you there?
No comment.
Sonny, cheers for your time.